one day, I was visiting some friends, and boy, they had a bad odor coming out of the house. And I know what I know. I know the difference. Animal flesh, human flesh. Well, it's gone. And I made a comment. I said, boy, something's dead around here. And they told me, well, it's rats upstairs. And I said, well, I'll be getting rid of me some rats.
Warning. The podcast you're about to listen to may contain graphic descriptions of violent assaults, murder, and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Who Killed Letha with Clifford Taylor. Welcome to the Murder Police Podcast. We have with us today Mr. Clifford Taylor. How are you, Clifford?
I'm doing fine.
David, how are you?
Doing good. We're actually at the Garrard County Public Library in Lancaster, Kentucky, so we're grateful for their assistance in giving us a place to record, and it's a fantastic facility, too. So glad to have you, Clifford. Thanks for reaching out. You know, one of the things we've started covering Letha's case a little bit, and every time we think we're sort of done, somebody else comes forward with really good information about who Letha was and things like that. And again, our hope is that we stir enough conversation out there in the community where somebody comes forward with what it'll take to get justice for Letha, because she's long overdue.
She sure is.
She is. How did you know Letha?
Well, I knew Letha ever since she's been a baby, and her brother, Little Hog, we called him Little Hog. I knew both of them, knew Brenda real close, knew her daddy was one of my best friends. We called him Hog Head.
Hog Head, yeah.
Long story about how he got his name, but great people. I mean, they wasn't no bad people, nothing. Hog worked hard, Brenda worked hard. Brenda worked at McDonald's, and Hog would work at Simmons for the summer, blacktopping, and then he worked Bill Locker's slaughter plant in the winter when there wasn't no blacktopping to do.
Gotcha.
So,
can you share how he got Hog Head? Because we keep hearing Little Hog and Big Hog.
Well, it all happened years ago in Orangetown. Back in the day when there was no work, no nothing, and everybody was hungry. And he said, "Daggone Clever, I got tired of my family being hungry and everybody else." So he went up there to the Bluegrass Stockyard and climbed in the lot. He said, "No, this is true if he told me closer what mean you're sitting about it." He said, "I got the biggest hog I could find." He said, first he sharpened up an old double-blade axe he had. He went up there and climbed the fence. He said, "I picked out the biggest hog I could." He said, "I killed her, Big Sal," he told me. He said, "I cut her half in two. I folded that half a hog on my back." And he said, as I was getting ready to climb over the fence, a gentleman, he knew who he was, I forgot his name now. He said, "Daggone Hog, you're tough, ain't you?" Or Hog Head or something like he called. I said, "Hog Head, you're tough, ain't you?" And he said, that name just stuck with me. From now on, nobody knew anybody's real name.
I love it.
Everybody called him Hog Head.
You know, we've heard it over and over again, but I'm glad we got you in here because I've been wondering how you pick up a nickname.
And, you know, even like 4th of July or the parades that Nicholson used to have all the time, he rode his horses through there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Everybody knew Hog.
So, excellent. What a story.
That's a good one.
And he was a good, hard-working man and honest. But the best thing about Hog, if he could help anybody, I mean, he didn't even have to know you. If he could help you, he was there helping you. Never had to worry. But anyway, he said, I climbed that Tucket dinner and fed everybody in Orangetown. Which my mom then was, she was kids did. I remember him doing all that, see.
Gotcha.
He touched a lot of people by what he done, but they put him in jail, of course. What he done was wrong, but hey.
Yeah, people make mistakes, right?
Well, people make mistakes, but also, daggone, you push somebody where there's no options, they're going to do something.
Gotcha.
You know,
let's
regardless.
Get back to Letha a little bit. What's your first memories of Letha? What do you?
I just remember holding her as a baby and giving her a bottle and watched her grow up. And then the day that, I'll never forget it, the day that she came up missing, I was working 3 jobs then. I was working at Hardee's as a maintenance guy, and she come in with a young boy and a young long-haired girl. And, of course, both of them was really extremely high, but Letha wasn't.
Okay.
Because I knew that, but she was not, I don't know. And I said, Letha, when are you going to start straightening yourself up, hon? They was having wild parties down there about every night of the week. It was awful down there. And this lady took over Brenda's place there, supposed to have been whatever, but they was doing a lot of selling of drugs.
I gotcha.
And which we found out later that there was. And she says, Clifford, I done straightened myself up. She says, I went to the Metro Police Department today. And she says, I told it all. And she says, I'm going to go back to school and get ready to go help Mr. Earl pray for him to the backer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going back to school. She said, it all stops today. And she looked good. She acted good. She was happy, you know. And from somehow or another, from that Friday, I think it was, early that day, from the time she was supposed to went home, nobody seen her. So we heard several different stories. We heard one story where she got in a fight with a couple of boys up the road there, and I know their names too. They took off down the road with butcher knives, fighting one another. Now, Letha will fight you. She was tough like her dad, and her mama's got a bad temper. Oh, Brenda does.
Gotcha.
She'd fight anybody when she was younger. But anyway, they, that was one story told, and we had another story told about this and that, and then we came up several times after all that. One day, I was visiting some friends, and boy, they had a bad odor coming out of the house. And I know what I know. I know the difference. Animal flesh, human flesh. Well, it's gone. And I made a comment. I said, boy, something's dead around here. And they tried, well, it's rats upstairs now. I said, well, I'll be getting rid of me some rats.
Yeah.
You know? Well, anyway, that went on. That week when that happened, they put it on the air. News did that. They think they found Letha's body beside a pond on Union Mill Road. And so it was covered woods, a little pond there. There's a woods clear and a new house that's built there on Union Mill where the body was found, or supposed to have been found. Well, everybody went there and she wasn't there. About a week after that, two after that, a friend of mine come down to borrow a broodcock to breed his chickens to, and his son drove down and he looked as white as snow and he said, well, what's wrong with you, Jay? Looked like you seen a ghost. And he said, I think I have. I think I found Letha. And so his dad went back up and come back down and said, yep, it's probably her. He used the telephone. They didn't have no phone up there then. Used the telephone at our house and called. And actually, Metro came down and they called the coroner to come down. And they said she was laying underneath some tin. This gentleman, that's a good friend, he said, well, I said, I'm pretty sure it's her. It looked like her blue jean pants just golden there. I said, oh, okay. So that happened all at one time. But it's funny that we went and did literally a search. Everybody did down there, walked and everything. And this one part area was searched, and she wasn't there then. Now, her cousin said, one of them's dead, one of them's living, said that they had dropped that tin right there, right close, right beside where her body was, and they didn't even see her then. So, and then it just went on like that, you know. And nothing was never done because she was from a poor family. You know, I mean, that's the way we felt about it. And nobody wasn't going to do nothing. And usually back then, because before, there's a lot of good things that happened since they brought the police in. Back then, there wasn't a lot of police. You kind of had to deal with things on your own on that community. And that's the way it was.
It was real rural, wasn't it?
There wasn't nothing out there like it is now.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing like that. Do you remember any other specific memories of Letha before she disappeared? What was her personality like?
She had a good personality. Yeah. She could work, and she laughed. She was a good kid. And she'd always be a kid to me, no matter if she lived to be 100. And, you know, she enjoyed life. You know, I mean, you know, she was raised up good. You know, stuff. I can remember a time when she was probably about 7, 8 years old. She was outside telling us that she had to feed the kitties cookies. And we looked out there, she's feeding a dadgone wildcat out there a cookie. Took it right away from her, buddy. Come right up and took it right out of her hand and never did hurt that kid. And she's a little bitty kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we kept saying, well, you ain't so many of them cookies for I want to feed the kitties. And she's feeding kitties, all a big kitty. Yeah, bigger than a dog. She wasn't scared of it.
No.
So do you recall when you found out, Where were you when you found out Letha was missing, and who told you? Was just family said, hey, we can't find Letha? Have you seen her?
Well, nobody asked me if we seen her or not, because at that time I lived away, but my chickens were still down at my dad's, and I'd go down there and feed and water every day anyway. But we seen it. We found out how she was missing. We found out, I think it was like maybe a day or two later, and we heard it on the news or whatever. I mean, her mom had, everybody done report her up that they couldn't find her or nothing, And I'm like, well, I didn't know what was going on, I just knew that that didn't seem like the same Letha I talked to that Friday. She had everything going, everything straight in her mind, what she was going to do,
And her daddy had passed at this point, hadn't he?
Oh, yeah, he had passed away a long time before something. Because I'm going to tell you, honey, if we did, we wouldn't be doing this today. Hog would personally hunt him down and got him himself. He wasn't scared about going back to jail, not when it depends on his family or somebody he cared about. And I'm telling you right now, if it was me or my sister, something like that happened to, whatever, he would have been right there with us helping us hunt down. And he wouldn't stop, because many times we done things together. He said, come on, Clifford, and go, and I was there with him. He's my do or die.
That's what people have said, is that none of this would have happened if he was still alive, because he was such a strong force.
No. I mean, if he didn't deal with it, I believe he would probably let y'all know, but he would want to take it personally.
Oh, sure.
That's the way, we was brought up the way it was, And like I said, I didn't know a whole lot until later and stuff,
Gotcha.
with her.
Gotcha.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
So during these months that she was gone, approximately 4 months, we kind of have figured, was there any talk? I mean, did it just kind of die down, or were you all still just actively looking, or had you kind of
we
figured
looked all
something
the time.
happened?
Me and my brothers would see buzzards flying down in the woods. We'd go to them just to see what the buzzards, was, eating. It could have been her. I mean, we don't know, and we would walk and get to wherever the buzzards was eating on. Of course, it wasn't, it was just something, a deer or, something that animals had caught and left there. And we would search ourselves for if we seen anything, if we see anything at all that she, that we thought, maybe that's her, we go. We just stopped where we was doing, we go when we seen stuff like, because, by then we already knew she was missing, And we was a very close family down there together. Brenda even got me a job one time working at McDonald's with her when I needed one, stuff. So, and, but like I said, we just go all the way back.
Sure.
We watched Alfie show. We was on 2 houses on the road, and we did stuff together, just all the time. We did good things, and she was a good girl.
Gotcha.
And whatever happened to her, she didn't deserve it. And I hope whoever did will get justice done.
Yeah, that's certainly what we're hoping as well by doing this. I was going to ask, you had mentioned there was a smell coming from the house. About how long was it from when you smelled that smell until she was found?
Oh, gee, let's say maybe it happened about 2 weeks. Within a 2-week period.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 1, 2. But I think whoever was involved, I think they kept her body moving. They was both determined. I don't know, both determined nobody to find it or what was going on,
That's what a lot of people think in the family and friends, is that they said the searchers were so good, and now you're talking about the people that actually laid the tent on the trash pile, didn't see her, that they really believe that she might have been moved.
Yeah, that's certainly what we've been told as well.
I think it's like a week or so before the boys said they put the tent out right beside her. She'd have been there all that time. Which I don't think she was, but...
Gotcha.
Yeah, you'd certainly think somebody would have seen her.
Yes,
or
I do.
Smelled something.
You could smell something then,
So I guess after she was found, I guess, any stories kind of arise of what happened, or did it just kind of die down?
That's what makes it hard when you're looking at a case like this, is that not all of it's accurate. Maybe there's a thread in there somewhere. I mean, but it's hard to go through all them stories, that's for sure.
I've heard one story where this little boy was at Carmel's funeral was bragging on it, that him and so-and-so had killed her and got away with it.
You're right. How long?
But I don't think they was one that done it. But
Yeah, and sometimes people do that to make themselves look like they're big and mean. And
I don't think they was the ones that done it.
yeah,
Well, actually, I don't think I know who ones that did it, but I'm not saying.
Yeah, like I said in one show, we don't name suspects until they're done. So,
Right.
do you remember how long Carmela was alive until she passed away? We're trying to find that gap a little bit too.
Well, she done moved away from there after all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
She got scared and left too. Because she was the type of person where she was at there or whatever, she was going to be fine doing what she was doing. But she got scared and she booked, and everything else was down there was going on booked too.
Now, can you tell our listeners who Carmela is?
I think Carmela is related to him somehow.
I know she was close.
Brenda.
Yeah, I know she was close because she had moved into the house.
Yes, she took that charge. I think the way I understood it, Letha was going to go be with Brenda, but Brenda had got married and all that, and you just had to know Brenda how she was, and she turned her daughter down about coming down, being there with her, and they said that's how Carmela stopped down there, but Carmela was placed down there to keep eye on everything, basically.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Certain people.
Okay.
And then, when it got a little bit more hotter, the disappearance Carmela, she left. I think when she passed, she was living in Richmond.
Oh.
I think.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how she passed?
Yeah, she died of a heart attack, I think, or something happened to her health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So she left when things got a little heated on what was going on.
Yeah.
Now, was she an adult? She was older than Letha?
Yes.
So she was just there to kind of oversee.
Yeah. Well, she was trying to be like it, And by then, Letha was old enough. I mean, she wasn't 21, 22 years old, but she was old enough to know right from wrong, and her and little Hog could have been fine right there by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't nobody going to bother, and until they start all that stuff up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she left, and she's since passed. We've understood that several people that's kind of been involved in this circle has also passed, and so what we're hoping for is to get some justice for Letha and the family, because
I do too.
Everybody who knows stuff, it seems, has either passed away.
It's time.
Yeah, it is. It's long overdue.
Long overdue.
Over 3 decades.
The kids sure deserve better than this.
Amen.
She really did. She did. Well, anybody does.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should look on, or nobody's family should have to suffer through all this as long as it's been.
That's right.
Well, Clifford, thank you so much for coming to talk to us. And every little bit helps from people who can tell part of the story. Sure. And what we're hoping for is that all these little pieces will maybe add up to get some justice for Letha.
I sure hope
like you said, it is very long overdue.
It is. It's very long overdue. And I hope it does wind it up.
Yeah. And thank you again from me, too, personally, just because I'm interested in seeing this get solved and something brought back to all of y'all for answers.
We all hope it gets solved.
Yeah.
And get to see it on TV nationwide or something.
There we go.
Sure it's done. I'm on the local news, everybody knows about what had happened.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing too. We don't want anybody to forget who Letha is.
No.
It's sad. You go decades like that and people forget who she is or what she meant to everybody. So thanks for sharing the stories.
Y'all sure welcome.
Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
The Murder Police podcast is hosted by Wendy and David Lyons and was created to honor the lives of crime victims, so their names are never forgotten. It is produced, recorded, and edited by David Lyons. The Murder Police podcast can be found on your favorite Apple or Android podcast platform, as well as at murderpolicepodcast.com, where you will find show notes, transcripts, information about our presenters, and a link to the official Murder Police podcast merch store, where you can purchase a huge variety of Murder Police podcast swag. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, which is closed caption for those that are hearing impaired. Just search for the Murder Police podcast and you will find us. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe for more and give us 5 stars and a written review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your podcasts. Make sure you set your player to automatically download new episodes so you get the new ones as soon as they drop. And please tell your friends. Lock it down, Judy.